Welcome. You are listening to the Mindful Minute, meditations created for everyday joy. I'm your host, Meryl Arnett, and my passion is making meditation accessible and enjoyable. This podcast is recorded from my live Monday night meditation class, where we have a brief discussion followed by a guided meditation. If you would like to access these meditation practices as standalone audio files for your daily practice, please subscribe to my newsletter at merylarnett.com. It's free, and you'll receive a new mini meditation each week, along with behind-the-scenes content and bonus material for each podcast episode. All right, let's grab a cup of tea, a comfy seat, and settle in for today's practice. Hello, friends. Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Mindful Minute. I have missed getting to sit and talk with you, and I am so happy on this late December afternoon to be sitting in my living room in front of the fire and recording a special meditation just for our New Year's Day. You know, I have been thinking a lot about January 1 and the month of January in a whole as a month that we tend to keep expectations and plans and agendas onto. I have been doing the same. I know if you've been listening, you know I've been on a break for several months from teaching and 6 weeks from the podcast, as I've been thinking about 2024 and what I want to teach and what I want to share on the podcast. And I have some really fun plans for us. I'm really looking forward to creating some of the classes that I've mapped out, to recording and sharing them with you. And I kind of want to do it like right now, January 1, just put all this new content out there and jump feet first, head first, heart first into the new year. But here's the truth. I have also been thinking and realizing that January is in the middle of winter. It's not even the end, it's the middle of winter, right? Winter as a season begins with the winter solstice in mid-December, and it travels all the way through to the spring equinox in mid-March. We have several months of a winter season. And winter is not a season of action, at least not typically. Winter is a season of rest and reflection, nurturance. In the darker, colder months, we're invited to slow down. This doesn't necessarily equate to a fallow season, right? In my personal experience at least, winter tends to be a time of vibrant creativity for me. But not the type of creativity that is asking to show up in a vibrant, forward-facing way. This creativity, like the plants that we see outside, it's not meant to flower and shine for others' eyes right now. This creativity is meant to feed and foster deep roots for the whole year ahead of us. It's meant to provide the nourishment needed for later months when it is time to shine above ground. And so my invitation this year is to take your time. My invitation is that there is no need for any of us to spring into action quite yet. Let's stay in our caves and let's practice harvesting the fire. This phrase has been with me the last couple weeks and has been part of my personal practice. Fire, symbolically, this would represent our energy, our creativity, our passion, our insight, or our effort. If you want to think of the hearth, the fireplace, like the one that I'm sitting in front of today, tending this fire is an act of tending to my home, of providing light and warmth, comfort, even food, if we were to think about earlier versions of cooking, at least for most of us. When we think of fire within our meditation practice, all of these literal and metaphorical meanings apply. Deep within our bellies lies a fire, one that provides heat and light, one that provides passion, energy, drive. And this season, our meditation practice invites us deeper inside ourselves. It is in here that we harvest both our insights and our clarity for what is needed in the year ahead of us, as well as harvesting our creative energy, our ideas, our little personal projects that we are meant to spend time on. I recently read a bit of Jewish lore around fire. There was a sacred fire that was kept inside the temple. And when it was clear that the temple was going to be attacked, the priest hid this sacred fire in a cistern, in a storage tank that holds water. And as you can imagine, when they came back, the fire had gone out. But what the people did is they poured the water out onto an altar that sat in the sun. And the sun rekindled the fire that had been hidden inside the water. I love the imagery of this little bit of myth. As we think about fire within the season of winter, as we think about storing, harvesting energy, creativity, heat, warmth, insight, as we think about harvesting all of that in our practice in these darker, colder months, and knowing that even if we don't feel it all the time, especially in the winter season, even then it is lying in wait to be rekindled or to burn brighter as the year shifts towards spring, as we move towards a season of growth, and then indeed of flourishing, of flowering above ground. So for now, I want us to rest as much as we can. I'm thinking about journaling just a little bit more than normal. I'm going to invite you to play with these divination cards that you have sitting on the shelf somewhere in your house. And maybe we'll light candles or campfires or wood fires, and we'll listen to what is said in the fire's crackle. We'll revel in the delights of this season without rushing to the next. And we will each be our own firekeeper, our own tender of sacred flame. And with that, we invite us to meditate with the snaps, the crackles, the pops of the fire. So I hope you'll join me in a 10-minute practice today. Come into a comfortable seat. Wherever you might be right now is welcome. You'll let yourself sit in a way that feels safe, steady, and supported. Get blankets if you need them. Get cushions. Settle yourself down into a seat and decide if you'd like to close your eyes or you'd like to take a soft gaze down towards the ground. And together as a group here, for the first time this year, let's breathe in deeply. Exhale out a sigh. And we'll do that once again, inhaling deeply, filling yourself up. Exhaling out a sigh. And then allowing yourself to breathe naturally. And beginning your practice as we always do, by silently saying to yourself, now is my time to meditate. Now is my time to meditate. And as you say those words, maybe you can remind yourself that there's nowhere else that we need to be. This moment is just for us. Just for us to sit and connect to ourselves. And so as you let your breath flow, you might invite your attention inward, softening all the edges of your body so that we're not holding ourselves rigid. And as we sit in this softer way, why don't we each imagine, just in our mind's eye, drawing a circle around ourselves. A circle today that is made of fire. This fire, bright and sure, serves as a protective ring. One that holds at bay all the noise from outside, the distractions, the worries, the ideas. And safe and warm inside this ring of fire, we can just relax a bit more. Letting our breath flow all the way down into our bellies. And letting our breath flow all the way out into the room around us. And gradually you'll draw your awareness down inside your belly, deep behind the navel center. And it's here that we connect to our own internal flames. You might notice how that flame appears to you today. Is it big and wild? Is it singular like a candle? Is it held within a bowl? Just allowing your flame to be exactly as it is. As we connect to that internal flame today, we find the rhythm of our breath. And you'll notice that your inhales are an invitation for that flame to grow, to burn brighter or to spread through your body, to shine more light. And each time you exhale, it's as if you are concentrating the source of that flame. And so we'll sit together about 4 minutes, listening to the crackle of the fire. Letting your inhales feed the flame. Letting your exhales concentrate the source of that flame. Feeling your breath flow. Hearing the crackle of fire. And sensing your own internal flame, harvested and held deep inside yourself. Gradually, you'll allow your breath to deepen. Taking your time to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And together as a group, we'll take one last deep inhale in. Exhaling out a sigh. And taking all the time you need to let go of your practice, to blink your eyes open once again, and to move slowly as you venture into the start of your year. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's practice. It was my pleasure to practice with you again, and I look forward to a very full year of exploring meditation with you. I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to the Mindful Minute. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving me a review wherever you get your podcasts. This helps others to find the show, and let's face it, we could definitely use more meditators in this world. The Mindful Minute is recorded on Muskogee land and produced with the support of Madeline Day Production Management and Brianna Nielsen Virtual Assistants. To join my live classes, ask questions, or learn more about my teacher trainings, please visit merylarnett.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you guys next week.